Hello, Gemini. Thank you so much for being here with me. I missed you guys. I missed Gemini. All right, guys, you have beautiful cards this week. I really do like this. So from Lee Vampire, you pulled Hunter, Aggressor, Tracker, and Provider. And from Chakra Wisdom, you pulled Self-Worth. So basically, it's you now hunting down the things that you feel like you deserve because of this newfound sense of self-worth, self-care, and love, which is great. Now, Hunter is saying that now is the time for you to actively seek what you want, to see how far your strength can take you. It's time to establish how you're going to obtain what you want. You must not ask another to go after it, and you must find the courage within to chase what you would make yours. But you need to be honest with yourself about what you're chasing down. But the reason why you're doing this now, again, is because of self-worth. This card is saying that you feel like you no longer need to prove yourself to anybody. But it's also about the word deserve. How do you relate to that word? Are you ready to receive the things that you feel like you deserve? Unfortunately, a lot of times people will look at, well, I've made this mistake, so I deserve this unfortunate situation. No, 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 no. Right? No. You deserve far better than what you have experienced in the past. Right? Here's your overall for the week. Oh boy. Oh boy. So now the Two of Cups being the signifier is saying that this is going to be about a relationship. It doesn't have to be romantic, but definitely could be. The Two of Cups, it is about the emotional connection between two people. Seeing eye to eye, reciprocating feelings and thoughts and ideas. It's good. It's about coming together, right? But this entire reading, I feel like, is going to have to do with a relationship where there is an emotional connection. Now, in the past, the Page of Pentacles, this to me is saying that in the past, you're working on making this real, right? The Page of Pentacles is one of those pages that they are all about, doing what it needs to take to make what they want real, right? What is real and what is practical? And again, it kind of brings me back to Hunter and, being honest with yourself about what you're chasing down. But, the Page of Pentacles is trying to get something started here. Now, for some of you, it's going to be good financial news that's coming through. Definitely for some of you, it may be going back to school. All those different things that have to do with material gain. But usually when I see the Page of Pentacles, I think of somebody who's trying to get something started, trying to get a relationship going here, and knowing that it's going to take work, right? Knowing that you're going to have to start from the very bottom here to get to what you want, right? Now, oh yeah, in the present, the Nine of Cups, you want this. This is what you want. The Nine of Cups, emotional fulfillment, feeling abundant in all areas of your life. But this to me is saying that, yes, this is what you are wishing for. This is what you want. You're wanting to have your wishes fulfilled, and you're willing to do what it takes to get there. But in a good way with the Page of Pentacles, I feel like. Now, in future conditions, the Six of Pentacles, this could be definitely receiving the things that you want, right? It could be that, this is about a fair and balanced situation, right? It's a little bit different than justice in the fact that, it's not about decisions. It's about how much effort you're putting into something and how much you're getting out, the equal give and take, right? But some of you, again, going back to receiving the things you feel like you deserve, and receiving the things that you want and being open to receiving this, but then also, putting in to this what you need to be, right? So that you have that equal return. Your best path to follow, Gemini. The fuck? The Four of Cups. Oh, I worry about this because this is what you're wanting, but the Four of Cups is saying that, you're not invested. You're not emotionally invested. The Four of Cups is boredom, emotional stasis, apathy, blah. It's bluck. I hate it. It's one of those things where, why are you doing something if you're not, emotionally in it, not emotionally involved? The other thing, though, too, is that, damn it, You may think that this is what you want right now, but it may not be what, you had expected. Like with the Four of Cups, it's saying that an offer that comes through may not be good enough. It may not be, what you had expected it to be. With the Six of Pentacles though, and that worries me a little bit, because here's the thing, if you're not emotionally invested, it can suggest that you are not putting into this what you need to be, or vice versa. It may be a situation here where somebody else is not invested and you're putting into this and giving, but not receiving shit back. It's one or the other here. But, as your best path to follow, it's really about looking at you. How emotionally invested are you going to be into this? How much are you actually going to give into this situation? You initially wanted this to get going in the first place with the Page of Pentacles, but what are you putting into this? And you can't expect anything to come out of this if you're not willing to put the same amount of effort in as the other person, right? Man, Gemini. Oh, in your environment, the High Priestess. I don't necessarily feel like there are secrets coming out. When I look at this, first of all, with the High Priestess, it's about paying attention to your intuition and your instincts and where it is leading you. When you look at the High Priestess and it being connected with the twos, it's about giving, your decisions the time and space it needs to grow into, physical manifestation, right? But, what I feel like looking at this is that, for some of you, it could be a situation that, you may not have known about that's, starting to come into play here. Like, that hidden information is coming into light and now you're needing to pay attention to your instincts as far as what you actually want out of this situation. But, again, with the Six of Pentacles coming out, who's putting in all the effort here? Is it an equal give and take situation, right? Man, Gemini, I feel like you're following your instincts in the fact that this is what you've been wishing for, but I don't think that you've really thought about what that means. What is actually going to fulfill you? What is actually going to make you happy? Wow, I could pick this apart. All right. Oh, shit. Look at it, Gemini. Look at it. Your hopes and your fears, the fucking Ace of Cups. Are you kidding me? This is what you want. This is what you want. But somebody is not seeing it in the way that they had expected, looking at the Four of Cups, right? The Ace of Cups is technically what is being offered here. But it's either not good enough, it's not what you had expected it to be, or you're not emotionally invested in this. But the Ace of Cups being hopes and fears is saying that this is what you're hoping for. This is what you're hoping for, the Ace of Cups. It is a new emotional experience, but it's different in like with the Page of Cups where, this is fulfilling you completely. It's a new love, a new emotional connection, right? With the Two of Cups connecting to spirit and spirituality. But somebody's not in it, and it bothers me. It bothers the fuck out of me. I feel like in the present, this is exactly what you want. But, for some of you, you may not be giving it the time and space it needs to grow, right? Sorry, guys. Still getting over that horrible cold. But the thing is, though, with it being there, again, it has the potential to manifest, right? But I worry here. Oh, coming out of this, the King of Pentacles. Who's that? Who is this? The King of Pentacles coming out of it. Now, talking about you, it's about you being dependable. You being able to, give your time and effort into this relationship and what you're actually wanting from this relationship. Or we could be talking about a person coming out of this. The King of Pentacles, you're looking at Earth. Now, I don't feel like this is somebody who is focused on the material gain. I don't think that that's it. I think that this is somebody who, may be having issues here as far as what they're willing to give into this. Possibly. But I feel more so that this is about you. This is going to be about you, right? And not being in it, not being invested in it, right? This person may be giving, but, you know, you're not willing to put into it. And it may be because things are not, you know, what you had actually wished for, right? Because of the Ace of Cups being hopes and fears of what you were originally wishing for and hoping for. But then, you know, your best path to follow is saying, you know, you may not get it the way that you had expected it, you know, and is that going to stop you from, you know, putting in the effort, right? And then the Seven of Cups, Gemini. All right. First of all, with the Eight of Swords, right? This is either you or the other person here that you're dealing with that is not seeing clearly the way out of a situation that they feel trapped in. The Eight of Swords, really, this is, you know, this person is doing this to themselves, right? You're not trapped. You think you are, but there is a way out. It's just whether or not you're willing to see it, right? And again, this could be you or the other person here, but with the Five of Swords, I worry. The Five of Swords, you know, this could be fighting, disagreement, right? Not communicating well. But the thing that sticks out for me is, you know, you or the other person here needs to be careful about what you're willing to do to get what you want, even if that means hurting somebody else. You know, you don't want to do that. And it could be that, you know, we're not seeing our way out of, you know, big time disagreements and misunderstandings. The Seven of Cups, you know, we're fantasizing and not making things reality. I worry about this reading, Gemini. I see what you're wanting, but I also see it not really happening. And maybe you're not willing to give into this situation here equally, right? And it may be the same thing on the other side too, though, with the other person. I see what you want. I see what you're hoping for, especially in terms of a relationship. But, you know, the other person here and you are not seeing eye to eye, especially with the Five of Swords being there. And nobody's making anything reality. You know, with the Seven of Cups going into fantasy land. Wow, Gemini, this one's a little bit difficult, you know. And it's like Spirit's warning you here that you may not see what you were originally hoping and wishing for. You know, I almost wonder, though, if it's even worth you putting in anything into it, right? And I hate saying that. But it's like, well, why if you're not going to get the same return or if you're not actually seeing what you wished for? But then the other thing is, you know, maybe you set your goal a little bit too high. But I'm not saying that in terms of you don't deserve it. I'm saying that in terms of what you're expecting out of the other person. You see what I'm saying? Somebody is stuck mentally. They're not seeing their way out of a difficult situation. That difficult situation is the Five of Swords. It is miscommunication and fighting. Definitely not seeing eye to eye. And we're just fantasizing about things and not making them reality. All right, so allow. You know, I don't feel like you need to allow bad things to happen. I just think that you're going to have to allow the situation to unfold the way it needs to instead of getting wrapped up in battles that are going nowhere. Action. You're going to have to take action here in terms of, you know, are you really going to put into something that you're not going to receive anything out of? You know, taking action here as far as, look, you know, here it is, but it's not what you had hoped for, right? What action are you going to take now to break yourself free from this situation? You guys are going to have to let me know what the hell is going on. But I do like the fact that, you know, for some of you with, you know, the situation with the relationship and then looking at Hunter and self-worth, it's like you're realizing now that you deserve better than this. And you're ready. It's like you're ready to take that action, right, with Hunter and aggressively seeking the things that you want now and what you feel like you deserve and what you really deserve. The only thing that is real is love. Shift your focus from the problem back to love and back to what you actually want. You know, just because you may not be getting it from the person that you had expected it to come from doesn't mean that, you know, you can't have this, right? Wow, Gemini, wow. You guys are going to have to let me know what is going on. This one feels a little bit rough, but then at the same time, I'm still hopeful, especially with Hunter and self-worth coming through here. You know, Don't continue to give into a situation where you're not getting equal return, definitely. This may be what you thought you wanted, but with the Four of Cups again and then the Ace of Cups being hopes and fears, you may not be receiving what you had expected out of the situation. It's like you tried. I feel like you tried with the Page of Pentacles coming through. But then again, with the High Priestess, you need to pay attention to your instincts and what it's telling you as far as, the difficulties that are happening here and not seeing eye to eye possibly with this person who is not giving into the situation, or you're not, whatever it is here. I still feel like that Ace of Cups is still there for you. It just may not be from the place that you had expected it to be. All right, Gemini. So one of the things that I love about doing your readings is as soon as I start to focus in on Gemini, my brain is going faster than my mouth. I've got all these things that I feel like I need to communicate and I just can't spit it out. But this one bothers me a little bit, and it's funny because when you look at the progression, it's not anything bad, but the Four of Cups is like a sore thumb in the entire thing. And it's really telling as to, what's really going on. So first of all, with the Two of Cups, right, about a relationship, but I feel like you're coming into this as the Page of Pentacles, willing to put in the effort here to make it real, wanting to have this relationship, willing to put in the effort. And in the present, this is absolutely what you want, and definitely with, the Ace of Cups being in your hopes and fears. But what bothers me is, too, the High Priestess. Now, this could definitely talk about hidden factors that you may not have been aware of, and now you need to pay attention to your intuition and your instincts when it comes to what you actually think you want, right? But, the Six of Pentacles, though, again, and I hate saying it, the one-sided situation. Are you the one giving and not getting shit back? Or is it the other person? But I don't think that that's the case. I do think that for a lot of you, the King of Pentacles is you thinking that this person was going to be dependable, and maybe they turn out not to be because they may be stuck mentally here. With the Five of Swords, it causes fighting. And then with the Seven of Cups, right, I can see it. It's like looking back on the things that you wanted and fantasizing about it, but not being able to actually make it happen. And it may be because of the issues that the other person is dealing with, or it's you. Now, I think, though, that because of this situation, you guys are realizing your self-worth, like seriously, and aggressively going after the things that you truly deserve. Now, with the soul trees, allow action and break free. Allow yourself to, just kind of go with the flow of the situation, but you're going to have to take action here to break free from the things that, are not worthy of you, especially when it comes to relationships. Love who you are, and the only thing that is real is love. So again, self-worth. But I also feel like with these two, realizing your self-worth, but then also realizing that just because this situation didn't work out doesn't mean that you can't have this again somewhere else where you can have somebody who's going to be dependable coming through. It bothers me. It bothers me. And it bothers me in a way because I'm looking at it and I see the progression, and it's nothing's bad, but that damn Four of Cups. And it sticks out like a sore thumb in the entire thing. So, Gemini, for those of you who are dealing with relationships here and you don't have, that person that's following through on putting in the same amount of effort, I would say that now is the time for you to start going after the things that are truly worthy of you.